Ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing in the cruiserweight division. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks, trimmed with black, weighing at 13 stone, 13 pounds, with a 43 fight record. Ladies and gentlemen, from Lithuania, please welcome Rolandas, Cesna. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, trimmed with gold, weighed in at 14 stone, 2 pounds, 8 ounces, undefeated, 1 contest, coming inside the scheduled distance. Would you please welcome from Liverpool, Craig Glover. Timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Gary Grennan. Now referee in charge of the action is Mr. Steve Gray, and this is 4 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division.
Okay, boys, if a cold break, you take 1 step back. Don't punch around the back of the head. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Touch gloves.
We've heard some impressive whispers in the gyms about this local cruiserweight, and Eddie Hearn made a big fuss of him at the press conference on Monday. Says watch out for him. Novice Craig Glover in his second outing, in with the much more experienced European Rolandas Cesna from Lithuania, who's in fight number 43, very much a journeyman. So it's a chance for us to assess Glover. Johnny's joined us back in your cruiserweight division. It really is buzzing, isn't it?
It's a good night tonight for the cruiserweights at last. Yeah, I always worry when you put a one-fight novice in with a fight with vast experience, him being a journeyman or not, because that's when it tests the novice's his heart. You know, it could make it very awkward for him, and especially when you're coming off the European circuit, you don't know what they've got in the tank. They may lose, but it's how did they lose? How hard did they make it for you?
Tries a fast whipping body shot early on. There's Glover in the black and gold.
Just tried to slip in right hand. Glover Cesna tried that early on in the round. At the start of the round, it doesn't seem to be a puncher, Cesna, but his record, he's never had a stoppage in the 5 wins that he's had. You still have to be careful.
He's under fire, though, very quickly. Fast hands of Glover, who sparred with some good pros like Luke Blackledge. And some people say he's Tony Bellew's protege.
Cesna not big for a cruiserweight either. You'd probably look at him and say more of a super middleweight of that. Not tall, and he's boxing defensively. So this is an outing for the Glover now to see if he can take this experience overseas fire out.
Again, he tries the whipping body shot, and in a shell is Cesna. Glover came in at 14.28, Cesna 13.3, so a big weight advantage for the man from Merseyside.
It's always a big jump up that light heavy to cruiserweight. You know, I feel for a lot of fighters, because you can tell by him coming in 14.2, he obviously hasn't had to bother working to get to that weight. He doesn't look a big cruiserweight, but he'll probably be well too big for light heavyweight. So it's a big gap from the 12 stone 7 mark up to the cruiserweight.
Well, it used to be 13.8, didn't it? Now 14.4, it's even more.
14.4 was a godsend for me, because 13.8 was the squeeze.
But you were a heavyweight or a cruiserweight, yeah, rather than a light heavyweight.
Right. And actually the IBF was 13 stone 7. So then it was even more of a squeeze trying to get into to fight for an IBF title. So now, with it being 14 stone 2, if you've got the power and you've got the skill, it's perfect for you. Yes, it's a massive jump from light heavyweight to cruiserweight, but you've either got to train and not be a lazy light heavyweight, otherwise you end up with the big boys.
Meaty right hands, couple of lefts as well. Just more of a dispirited look already from Rolandas Cesna at the end of the first round. He's been on the receiving end, he's breathing heavier, there's a bit of blood to the nose, and those right hands are doing damage. He looks calm, relaxed, and fast, Glover.
He's blowing already, Cesna, and he hasn't really done too much work. So with the body shots that Glover's been throwing, similar to that one was just got through, he's throwing them nice. He's plodding forward nicely, Glover. He's looking to pick his shots, and he's looking to just unload.
It's a very one-sided opening round in favour of Craig Glover.
That up as well. After you finish that, go back downstairs. You've got to wear him down. You've got to wear him down. Do you understand that?
Good first round, Johnny, wasn't it?
Yeah, you heard briefly in Glover's corner saying you've got to wear him down, keep the pressure on him, don't give him breathing space, and that's exactly what he wants. He's got to do to get this man out of there, because Cesna would be happy to go into sparring partner mode and run around the ring, tuck up tight, ride the shots, and do as little as possible, but just survive.
All you fighters have different stories, different journeys. Craig Glover was a kickboxer, as he just misses taking a right hand there. Kickboxer who took up boxing at about 17. He had 12 amateur bouts, so not really experienced. And he's now 25 and looking to make a name for himself as a professional fighter. Looks pretty assured, doesn't he, Paul?
He does. You know what? I was just going to say, you can tell he's watched a lot of videos of Tony Bellew because he's got that confident swagger about him, like Bellew has. He throws a similar right hand to the way Bellew does. He tries to bring it back in a similar way, and he's just, as I said, he's like a bit of an old school fighter look about him, where he's just coming forward, trying to just destruct and destroy, as Marvin Hagler used to say. You know, he's just wanting to come forward and land them big shots.
Reddening around the face of Rolandas. Cesna, who's trying to stay with him, doesn't look as fit, as sharp, as strong, as powerful.
I like how Glover's popping the right hands in over the top. He'll just pop his back foot up, the right foot up, and then drop the right hand down over the guard of Cesna. It's a nice, fast, crisp shot.
As Johnny said the round before, you know, it's going to be a point in the fight like now where I think it is at, where Cesna's just going to want to survive, and he's tucking up more now. And as a consequence of that, Glover isn't landing as many shots as he was the previous round.
He's been over here loads. He's not often stopped as he lands a couple of rights of his own. He went the distance with Jack Massey, Sam Hyde. He took 8 rounds. So there's obviously some stubbornness there. Some survival techniques.
And toughness as well,
yeah.
Which obviously you need. It doesn't matter how good your defence is, you've still got to be a bit tough to take the shots that Glover's given out as well, and the prospects that you mentioned just there. But now's the experience.
He's broad and stocky, isn't he?
Yeah, this is where, you know, an old Ricky Hatton line, you know, the journeyman shut up shop, and you have to prize them open. You've got to throw a few light ones in upstairs, bring them down to the body. You know, typical journeyman will not want to get caught, and if someone doesn't want to get caught, it's so hard to break them open and get them out of the shell.
They don't want to get stopped, Johnny, do they? Because they can earn a payday next week.
He can earn a payday, but it's good learning experience for an inexperienced fighter, because he has then got to find a way to shut these guys down. And if you can shut a journeyman down, a guy that's happy to survive, you then see potential in a fighter like Glover. So let's see if he's smart enough and sharp enough to find a way to crack his nut.
Dominant, and another gulp of air from Cesna as his cornerman shouts out from the outside the ring, and it's 2 out of 2 for Glover.
Because he's often shows skills in between, and then you'll set something up for a good shot in between.
Oliver Harrison in the corner of Craig Glover. Like what you see so far, Johnny?
Yes, I do. I think he's patient. He's only had 1 professional fight, but I just say he's got an old head on his shoulders, and he's very calm in how he's trying to walk down.
Third round, a 4-round sprint distance. Jim Watt always told us he never liked these. Prefers 6, 8, 10. You can't learn a lot. You might lose a decision.
Totally agree. Totally agree. These are like the in-between horrible kind of fights where you had to have some time to fill a gap in the show.
Yeah. Body shot from Glover. Is it just a case of keeping smart, keeping your punches flowing, make sure that you're winning these rounds, ticking them off?
Jim Watt spoke a lot of sense. 4 rounders should be outruled in boxing, I believe. You know, you drop one of them rounds, then it's really panic stations to get them other 3 in the bank. I don't think there's any panic here for Craig Glover. He's boxing well, but the problem now for Craig Glover is how do you prize Cesna open? How do you get him touch a few upstairs to land one of your big body shots, or touch down to come up high with a shot? It's trying to break him down now. He's just in defensive mode, and he hasn't got long.
And you've got 5 minutes of ring time to do it as he just takes a left hook. This is quick learning, very fast,
That's
isn't
the
it?
danger, Adam, which is, if Glover's doing all the work, round 1, round 2, and round 3, he's the one that using up more energy, and therefore Cesna, he's tucking up, and all of a sudden he's got the energy left in round 4, so he can throw the big sharp shots off because he's probably the fitter of the 2.
Good combination. It may be fast hands that he needs to unlock the key here. He did it in the 3rd round against Darren Snow on that Bellew Makabu Huge night at Goodison Park, and he's just beginning to have increasing effect here on Rolandas Cesna.
Just fell in with a right hand, Cesna, and then he received a nice uppercut for his trouble as well. He just looks a bit more tired than he is, Cesna. I think he's just got one of them on his faces where his mouth is constantly open, because it was open from the first bell, wasn't it? He's blocking a lot of shots, but a few are getting through now from Glover, and he just needs to keep either bludgeoning away or try and find that gap and land one clean shot. That's all it'll take.
Doesn't mind pain, obviously, does he? Looking at his tattoos as well. Oh, that's a little bit on the borderline, and Steve Gray's just going to tick him off. There was no harm really meant from Glover, but Cesna didn't need that, did he?
That wasn't borderline, Adam. That was Australia. That was really low. It's hard when you're throwing them type of shots, like a very steep uppercut to the pit of the stomach. If you're a bit too close to him, you're going to hit him low. If you're too far away, you're going to miss and probably hit yourself.
Marching, stalking Glover, but doing enough.
To get the knockout, Glover needs to be less predictable.
Yeah.
And his shots are now typical. Big wing in left hand, big wing in right hand, a couple of straight shots through, drop it to the body, dummy one to the head, then drop it to the body.
He's got to hold on, though. Cesna, he looks absolutely shattered as he returns to the red corner. Different look on the other side with Oliver Harrison. I quite like the look of Craig Glover. I think he's going to give us some exciting fights.
If this is how he looks after 2 fights, can you imagine what he's like after a dozen fights? Can you imagine what he's like when it comes to, he's got the experience of fight at championship level? This kid could be very good.
Now, why is there a craze to be in the cruiserweight division now? Because it's all happening in your old weight category.
It's perfect.
And I say old because you are not making a comeback.
It's perfect because this now, it's big men, and they're athletic-looking men, and they can punch and they can fight, and they've got speed and fitness. When you look at the success of Tony Bellew, then the young guys coming through like Glover thinking, if he can do that, so can I.
Tony Bellew's given it some appeal. What about Alexander Usyk, who we saw the other night?
I love him to death. He, to me, is the biggest danger man out of the lot, because he's still got a lot of growing to do, and he's still top dog.
And of course, some of these cruiserweights can go up to heavyweight too, as Mr. Nelson proved. Craig Glover, maybe on the small side for a cruiserweight, but that does give him extra hand speed and movement, and he's done nothing wrong here against Rolandas Cesna.
No, and he's got the extra time to develop and fill out and get that man strength, what you get, later. He's only 25, he's only a young lad in cruiserweight terms. He's got a lot of time to develop and fill out, but at the minute it means he's not struggling to make the weight limit, which would be good news for him. Started the round well, a jab to the head, 2 sharp left hooks, and the second one landed because it was different. It wasn't as predictable as his stuff.
Do you know what? He's going to be very good sparring for Martin Murray in the preparation for Arthur Abraham again. You fought Abraham.
Yeah, it will be. Abraham's strong, so strong that he's naturally strong, physically strong, and a cruiserweight like Glover who can dig a bit as well will be ideal for him, because he's a big puncher, Abraham. Martin knows what he's been in with, though. He knows all about Arthur Abraham. He pushed him close last time.
Do you think he'll beat him this time?
He's got a big chance. It depends on Martin. It depends if Martin is still wanting to be up there in the mix with things, or if he wants to go there and just try and prove a point to beat Abraham after the Groves loss.
That part of a huge night on November the 12th. We're out in Monaco as Paul's brother Stephen has a second chance of winning a world title. Jamie McDonnell defends his version, and Luis Ortiz, Matchroom's new heavyweight and arguably one of the very finest in the world, will be displaying his talent against Malik Scott. Quite a character. Can't wait for that, Johnny.
Yeah, it's going to be outstanding. Halfway through this last round, and now it looks like Glover's starting to take Cesna to pieces. He's not looking comfortable. He's looking at the referee. He's now trying to hold on, and Glover seems to be just found a way in.
He doesn't mind taking 1 or 2, does he, either?
He certainly earned his money, Cesna, because it's a difficult way to defend when you block with your arms the way you do. Now, back to Arthur Abraham, who we were talking about, that's how he defends. That's how Martin Murray defends sometimes as well with his arms, and it's a tough way to do it. You have to be strong and tough to block that way, because you're still taking a lot of the stick and the brunt of the big shots on the gloves and elbows. So he'll certainly be sore tomorrow. He's earned his money.
He's lost 35 of 42, only won 5. It's a hard life as a journeyman on the circuit, but he's a tough boy. And it looks like he will be back next week and the week after, and you can see why the promoters and matchmakers bring him back, because he gives prospects rounds.
The rounds will do Glover no harm at all, but it will, when he watches the back, he'll see openings that he could have probably got a body shot in here or there, or he'll see an opening where he could have prized Cesna open just a little bit more to get the stoppage, and he'll learn from it, and it'll do him no harm
He'll
at
also
all.
look at himself, and most fighters do that. Look at himself and think, how would I be me? You know, what did they do wrong, and what should they do in the future?
Well, there's plenty to like that about Craig Glover from here in Liverpool, 25-year-old who gets his second win as a young pro. Looks an enticing addition, Johnny.
Very good, I think, potentially, as long as he keeps his feet on the ground and pays attention, he should be a bit of a handful further down the line. Thank goodness I'm not boxing anymore.
You say you hate the 4-round distance, but it's better to get the 4 rounds than maybe the quick blast out. At least he,
It is, yeah, definitely.
he gets that under his belt.
If that was a 6-round fight, he'd have probably got him out there in the last 2, but then Cesna may have come out a little bit slower at the start of the fight as well. It's all ifs and buts, but with Glover, he won't have too many more of them. He certainly looks fit enough to have. He's got 2 more rounds in him there, of course, and he's walked forward, throwing punches constantly as well. So get him up to 6 rounds as quick as you can, and I think you'll see the best out of him.
They call him the real deal, Craig Glover. We wait and see how far he can go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. After 4 rounds of boxing, the referee has scored this contest 40-36 in favour of our winner and still undefeated from Liverpool, Craig Glover. A show of appreciation, please, for Rolandas, Cesna.
Carl, early days for Craig Glover, but how do you like the progression so far? Good learning fight for him?
I think that was a good learning fight, yeah, because he was able to go 4 rounds with a solid opponent, able to let his shots go, body shots, head shots, not too much coming back, but something to think about. Yeah, overall impressive. It's hard to draw a full judgment in 4 rounders against journeymen, you know, but that was impressive. How you doing?
Well done, Mr. Glover.
Good to see you, Craig. Second straight win as a pro. How did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, it was good. Very tough opponent, but I could have got him out there if I was a bit more selective, but it's big. It's first I've always wanted to box in the Echo, so would have had the pressure, but us did well.
Cesna's lost quite a few times, but as you say, he's not been stopped that often. In commentary, they were saying you started in a very assured manner, but maybe got a little bit predictable towards the end. Is that fair? If not, take it up with Johnny.
I think I got a little bit of frustration setting, because I know I could have got him out there, but I got 4 good rounds in, tough, and as I said, he doesn't really get stopped very often, so one of them. But you live and learn, don't you?
Tony Bellew says he's a big fan of yours. Like I saw a couple of moves you were dropping in, like Tony, that cockiness, that confidence. Has it rubbed off on you at all?
Definitely. Training alongside, he's a consummate professional, so training alongside Tony, he's only going to boost you. If you look at what he's doing, look what he's done to where he is now. It's brilliant. But
so you get to spar with him a fair bit?
Not for obviously the last camp, which was McCarthy, who's the southpaw, but the camp before that I did a few rounds with him, but great experience.
Early days, I think you're 25 years of age. How ambitious are you?
Very. I want to reach the top, definitely. 100%.
Well done tonight. Good to see you.